Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. If I may ask the audience to take their seats, we are about to start. Hi. And welcome to everyone. Thank you for making it out on a gloomy day for some hot stuff. No pun intended. We have a very interesting report to share with you. I'd just like to allow everyone to take a seat before we officially start. The audience to take their seats. We are about to start. Thank you for your patience. I may ask the audience to take their seats. Welcome to everyone. All right. Thank you again, and good afternoon to everyone. My name is Olivia Rubagumia. I will be your host and moderator for this afternoon. Would like to give a big welcome to all of you who have made it to this particular conversation today, to our esteemed panelists and keynote speakers. Thank you for coming and joining us in the Breaking Gendered and Social Norms, Restricting Women's Financial Inclusion. This is the theme of the day. It is part of the AFR Lead series, the Access to Finance Rwanda's series, looking into how to bring together policymakers, members of civil society, financial sector, product developers and providers, how to create inclusive finance here in Rwanda. We hope to continue this series to ideate, debate, and share best practices. And today, it is a pleasure on behalf of AFR to share the report launch on gendered social norms diagnostic and their impact on women's financial inclusion in Rwanda. Whew, it's a mouthful, but I think we all get what we are here for. And before I get into the crux of the agenda, to give you a little bit of what we're going to cover today, we'll have keynote speakers, including from the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Rwanda. We will also have live testimonies, a panel discussion, and an open Q&A so that you may also raise your questions, thoughts, and concerns to the report findings that will be presented to you as well. Without further ado, I would like to bring forward for welcoming remarks the Chief Executive Officer of Access to Finance Rwanda, Mr. Jean Yachu. Thank you and welcome, sir. Please give him a round of applause. So that you may also raise your questions, thoughts, and concerns to the report findings that will be presented to you as well. Without further ado, I would like to bring forward for welcoming remarks the Chief Executive Officer of Access to Finance Rwanda,
Honorable Deputy Governor, National Bank of Rwanda,
thank you and welcome, sir.
the Chief Gender Monitor, Mama Rose, as we call you, AFR funders here present, and those online, AFR board members, esteemed CEOs, members of the National Gender Machinery, distinguished guests, good afternoon once again. It's such a delight to see you all again. The last time I saw you, we had almost similar events, sharing some good insights, and I'm so happy to see you honoring our invitation. So thank you very much for coming this afternoon, and a warm welcome to this first event under the AFR Lead series, in which we shall discuss how we can address gendered social and cultural norms, restricting women's economic participation, financial inclusion, and empowerment in Rwanda. Allow me first to start with my remarks with a brief poll using Slido, just to test the temperature in the room. And I believe this will guide our discussions today. If the technical team can help, that would be appreciated. So get your smartphones ready, Android. You just have to give your view. It's very anonymous. Don't fear to vote or to provide your opinion. No one is recording that. Good. You go to Slido or you scan the QR code. Should be there. Are we there? Can we move to the first question? Not yet. Yes. So behind as well, we have another screen. You can scan from behind as well, or enter the number there. Good. Okay, let's go with the first question. And you have to respond by true or false only. So emotion is feminine, while reason is masculine. True or false? Don't consult, please. Just give your honest opinion. No one is recording you. Good. So 89% false, 11% true. Okay, next question. Oh, now 16, huh? People are changing views. Not bad. 16, not 11. Okay, next one. Women entrepreneurs should not leave childcare and household responsibilities to others. They should stay home and take care of our babies. False, true. So let's say it's back. So continue. No sabotage here. Good. So 24% say true. 26, 74 false. Interesting. Okay. It's increasing. Should we provide more time? Okay. Good. Let's stop there. 24, 26. Next one. Next one. Women entrepreneurs are equally as competent as male entrepreneurs. True or false? Okay, good. I think that's enough. Good, good. So that's, I have what I needed to see. So thank you very much. So what does this tell you? We have different beliefs in this room, and this really is a good sample to showcase what is happening and what we have across the country. There are beliefs that are there, beliefs that dictate what we do, what we think, and how we treat our sisters, mothers, and daughters, and so on. So it's interesting. So as you have seen, there's still some, I would say, conscious and unconscious beliefs that some of us still hold, and these influence the way we think, and do what we do. So when we are drafting laws, policies, strategies, and regulations, and even designing or developing financial products, whether consciously or unconsciously, you are influenced by these kind of beliefs. So when I have conversations with some financial sector, and I want to underline some financial sector players, about having women propositions, one common comment that always shocks me, and that is the products and services we have on offer are suited for both men and women. More than 4 times I've heard that from even CEOs, and that's probably 2 years, 3 years ago. And that was so bad for me. So while I do not agree with their statement, I refrain from blaming them, as it is always easy for many of us to play it safe and design gender-neutral policies, regulations, financial products that are not specifically aimed at either men or women and are assumed to affect both sexes equally. However, they may actually be gender blind. So according to a very recent research or report by CIGAP on addressing gender norms to increase financial inclusion, which was co-authored by Nisha, who is one of our panelists today. This gender neutral or gender neutrality that we have as an approach by some of us is one that fails to recognize existing and real gender differences, such as roles, responsibilities, and needs, and even dynamics, such as power relations between and among men and women, and how these differences and dynamics influence how women and men may participate in and benefit from different policies, interventions, financial products, and the wider economic development that we are all witnessing in our country. So what do we mean by gender norms? According to some scholars, these are collectively held conscious and unconscious beliefs, expectations, and perceived rules for how individuals should behave based on their gender identity. So they influence our behaviors, decisions, and how we treat, as I said, our mothers, spouses, sisters, and daughters, and may cause their financial and economic exclusion. For the last decade or so, and with good intentions, we have all been supporting women and girls to access and use financial services, and most of us have mainly focused on some interventions that have indeed provided good outcomes to women and girls, but these interventions have always hit, have always hit a huge stumbling block called gendered social and cultural norms. And this has eroded some achieved benefits and continue to hinder sustainable outcomes for many financial inclusion and economic empowerment endeavors that are meant to benefit women and girls. It is therefore high time to discuss how we can address the existing gendered social and cultural norms so as to sustainably increase effective economic participation and financial inclusion of Rwandan women and girls. This is exactly why we have invited all of you here. And we do believe that today's conversation will provide meaningful contribution towards addressing this pressing challenge in our modern society. So we have no doubt that we will benefit from the wealth of knowledge of key speakers, panelists, and participants in this room. And most importantly, we look forward to your collaboration going forward in addressing identifying gender norms within the financial sector, as you will hear from the presentation of this report we are launching today. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take this opportunity once again to commend the government of Rwanda for establishing equitable laws, policies, and enabling environment. This is really a good foundation for all of us in the financial ecosystem to innovate and deploy interventions and financial solutions that will sustainably benefit women and men equally. I would like to reiterate access to finances, to finance Rwanda's commitment to support interventions that seek to positively transform these prevailing negative gender norms. And I thank all our funders, namely Sweden, the Gates Foundation, through the FSD Network Gender Collaborative Programming, the MasterCard Foundation, and Jersey Overseas Aid for their continued support that facilitated AFR to conduct this important diagnostic. Rwanda deserves nothing but the best. And with our visionary leadership, led by our president, His Excellency Paul Kagame, we have achieved a lot, and we have always been in the first league with regard to the gender equality across the globe. So the prevailing gender norms should therefore never bring us back. As I conclude, please allow me to invite my colleague Agnes, the AFR Chief Programs Officer, to share some details on the AFR Lead Series that is hosting today's event and has plans to engage with us all in the financial sector in very productive conversations going forward. And I thank you all for your kind attention and wish you a fruitful deliberation. May God bless you. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Yachu. I think my colleague want to play a video before I start. Over to you, Nelson.
There is a wealth of knowledge and potential development opportunities that remain untapped in the Rwandan financial market. Every month, the AFR Lead Series bring together financial services providers, fintechs, mobile network operators, entrepreneurs, policymakers, regulators, NGOs, and more to ideate, debate, and transmit best practices and interventions, drive and facilitate a diverse and inclusive financial sector that delivers real value to the economy and people. Learn, engage, act, develop. Lead Series. Together. Providers, fintechs, mobile network operators, entrepreneurs, policymakers, regulators, NGOs.
Honorable Deputy Governor of the National Bank of Rwanda, Chief Gender Monitor, Mama Rose, AFR funders, AFR board members, AFR partners, esteemed CEOs, distinguished guests here with us, and those joining us online. Good afternoon. Lead Series. I think I have an easy job because the video just did my job, so maybe I should thank the video. So I will be brief. Lead Series. We will learn. We shall engage. and we will intentionally act, and we will collectively develop. Convening is a part of Access to Finance Rwanda DNA. So all of us at Access to Finance Rwanda, we are really excited to launch the LEADS series. We look forward to meeting you every month to learn together, to learn from each other, to engage in topics that could transform our financial sector ecosystem. Topics that are really important to you, to your institutions, to people, businesses, communities you all seek to serve, and to our country. And we believe that from increased knowledge sharing and insight, the LEAD series can inspire collective problem solving and innovation within the financial sector. We look forward to working this journey with you and to contribute to the development of an inclusive, resilient, sustainable financial sector in Rwanda. It is really befitting to kick off this LEAD series with a topic about discussion about the link of gendered social norms and women financial exclusion. And I'm very privileged to be part of this conversation. I also look forward to choosing the next topic with you at the end of this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Agnes. And just to bring back the LEAD series, the idea of bringing and convening together actors so that you may share best practices, ideate, debate, is really, really instrumental in pushing the conversation forward. So hats off to AFR for starting and this series, and we look forward to continuing onwards as well. But without further ado, it is my privilege and honor to welcome and for our keynote speech, the Deputy Governor of the National Bank of Rwanda, Honorable Soraya. Please welcome and thank you for joining us this afternoon. A big round of applause.
Thank you very much, Olivia, for the welcome, and thank you to AFR for the invitation. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Chief Gender Monitor, Mama Rose, Chief Executive Officer and board members of Access to Finance Rwanda, senior government officials, CEOs and MDs of our financial service providers, distinguished delegates, all protocols observed. Good afternoon again. It is a privilege for me to be here this afternoon. And first of all, I would like to thank AFR for organizing the LEAD series to take time and reflect on the important issue of financial inclusion. More so, I would like to commend the Access to Finance Rwanda team for having conducted a deeper study on gendered social norms and financial inclusion in Rwanda. And to be given the opportunity to deliver a keynote address this afternoon on the diagnostic of gendered social norms and their impact on women financial inclusion in Rwanda is not something that I take lightly. We know we have come a long way in closing the gender gap in different aspects and sectors in Rwanda, thanks to the leadership of our country. Nevertheless, despite numerous efforts by the government of Rwanda to promote a conducive environment for women and men to harness equal opportunities in education, health, in our professional and personal life, women still face a number of challenges in accessing economic opportunities at the same level as men. When it comes to financial inclusion, the gender gap stands at 7%. We have 74% of women that have access to formal financial services, compared to 81% of adult men. And we can note some progress as the gap has narrowed from 11% that we had in 2016, but still to have a gender gap in financial inclusion of 7% is still way above the global gender gap average. Globally, 78% of men and 74% of women have an account, which gives a gender gap of 4%. So the findings from this diagnostic study show that we still have challenges to face and barriers to break in terms of social norms that hinder women's access to affordable and quality financial services, in particular women entrepreneurs. And closing the highlighted gaps cannot be implemented by one institution. We all have to join hands and address the highlighted challenges that we will see as will be presented the gender social norms diagnostic. So what is our role as the Central Bank or National Bank of Rwanda? We've taken to task the promotion of gender-inclusive financial policies. Since 2019, members of our senior management have mentored and sponsored high-potential women leaders to design gender-inclusive policies aimed at boosting the rate of financially included women. To date, with the support of World's Women Banking and the Alliance for Financial Inclusion, AFI, we are implementing 4 main policies. The first one was the linkages and digitizations of saving groups, whose members are 75% women. The second policy we have designed is to have gender desegregated data on financial inclusion. And we are currently implementing 2 more policies, one aiming at strengthening access to mobile money to address women's financial needs, but also developing guidelines for our financial sector to deepen women's financial inclusion. So that particular contribution of the National Bank is not sufficient. And we all know that Rwanda as a country has a very ambitious vision to alleviate poverty, build a knowledge-based and private sector-led economy, but this cannot be achieved without targeted and robust support to women entrepreneurs and overall economic development of women. It is therefore crucial that we understand issues affecting women and business women in particular, to make sure that they are operating in an enabling environment, and that as policymakers and regulators, we are leveling the playing field. I was a bit surprised that in the icebreaker, the Slido, we still have more than 10% of people that think women entrepreneurs should not leave their children at home. So what does that say to our society? And I don't want to preempt and share findings of the diagnostic study on gendered social norms in Rwanda, but I want to mention one social norm that's highlighted in the report, which indicates that women entrepreneurs should rely on family for financial support instead of financial service providers. That's what the survey showed. So that belief alone goes a long way in hindering women's ambitions to access to financial services, to demand the financial education that they deserve, but also to dream big for their families and their businesses. Social and cultural norms are invisible, subtle limitations to financial inclusion. And I have no doubt that debunking each one of those false beliefs, as highlighted in the AFR's diagnostic report, will have a tremendous impact on the number of women who will have access to credit, who will have access to insurance, but also saving and investment products in the years to come. So let all of us here commit to understanding fully the gender social norms, to implementing the recommendations of this diagnostic study, so that we can narrow further the 7% financial inclusion gender gap we still have in Rwanda. I cannot conclude without thanking AFR for organizing this important event. And I would like also to thank Market Share Associates, supported by associate professionals, as well as MasterCard Foundation, who have made this study possible. I hope I haven't forgotten any of the sponsors, but otherwise AFR will mention them. And this is a remarkable work that will really help us all, decision makers, in taking bold actions towards having more financially included women, but also financial service providers that really cater for the needs of women entrepreneurs. And you can count on BNR's partnership and active participation in the LEAD series, but also all interventions to address financial exclusion of women in Rwanda and on our continent. So I thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Soraya. And it's a privilege to have you and Mama Rose, as we call, and all our stakeholders as well. So we are moving on to a section we like to call the life testimonies. We felt a report is one thing, but it's always so much more powerful to hear it from the lived experiences of women, of people across our country. So I would like to invite our colleague Nelson to come up and also invite our guests who have come quite far outside of Kigali to join us. Please give a big round of applause to Nelson. And I'll pass it over to you to introduce the ladies here.
Good afternoon. My name is Nelson Kubgimana. I'm the Communications Manager for Access to Finance Rwanda. We are so happy to have you for this event. And as Olivia has said, we are going to have live testimonies of women entrepreneurs from 2 districts in Rwanda. One's from Rwamagana, another one's from Bugesera. So they are going to share with us their experiences and how they have been facing gendered social norms when they started venturing in businesses, and how they ended up overcoming these gendered social norms and ended up succeeding in their businesses. We're gonna mix languages a bit, kubera ko abavandimwe bacu bakoresha ururimi rw'ikinyarwanda neza, turaza kuganira nabo mu kinyarwanda, hanyuma tugerageze gusemura ubuhamya cyangwa se ubutumwa bwabo mu cyongereza kugira ngo n'abadashobora kumva ikinyarwanda baze kumva neza. Ndagira rero ngo mpamagare imbere Floride ndetse na Chantal baze tuganire n'abo bantu bitabiriye uyu muhango. Murakoze cyane. Yego, murakoze cyane rero. Twakiriye aba bavandimwe bacu, ngira ngo mwana bakomera amashyi. You can just give them a round of applause. Nari natangiye rero mbavuga, ariko ndabaha umwanya kugira ngo nabo batwibwire mu magambo make ndetse n'ibyo bakora mu buzima bwa buri munsi, duhereye hariya hirya ibumoso.
Murakoze. Nitwa Mukarugema Floride, naturutse mu karere ka Bugesera, umurenge wa Ngeruka, ku rubuga rwa Rwanda Women's Network Ngeruka, ku rubuga rw'abagore rukora inkweto, ariko ngiye kubabwira ibijyanye n'ubuhamya bw'ibyo nkora jyewe ku giti cyanjye.
Nego, urakoze cyane. Shall say that she's Floride Mukarugema from Geruka sector in Bugesera district. She's part of an association of women entrepreneurs doing businesses there, and she's so happy to share her testimony with us. Wakomeza rero nawe nyirango yabanza nawe akatwibwira Chantal mu magambo make hanyuma tugakomeza.
Murakoze, nitwa Nyiramahirwe Chantal, naturutse mu karere ka Rwamagana, umurenge wa Munyiginya, ku rubuga rw'abagore indashyikirwa. Mu buzima busanzwe ndi rwiyemezamirimo, nkora amarangi nkanayasiga.
Yeah, she's Chantal from Rwamagana district. So she's a businesswoman doing paintings in the local communities. Hanyuma rero murakoze cyane Chantal ndetse na Floride. Twagira ngo noneho twinjire mu kiganiro cyacu kigufi. Duhereye kuri Floride, uratubwira muri business ukora cyangwa se mu kazi ukora ka buri munsi, imbogamizi wagiye uhura nazo zishingiye ku kuba abantu rimwe na rimwe baca abagore intege mu gukora business. Ese wahuye nabyo? Ni iyihe nzira wakoresheje kugira ngo ubitsinde kandi ukomeze business yawe? Uraduha ishusho y'uburyo waba warahuye nabyo.
Jyewe business yanjye ni ubucuruzi bwa botike, ariko aho ngeze uyu munsi nkaba mfite rivani mu muhanda itwara imizigo yanjye inyanditseho.
She's saying that her business is just transporting commodities in the community, and then she has a refund motor which has registered under her names.
Hamwe n'ibyo rero mu gutangira kwanjye nari mfite urugo rukennye kandi umugabo nta kazi, nareba guhora nsaba umunyu nkabona birangoye. Ndangije niga uburyo nakora business. Ye nahereye ubucuruzi bwanjye, botike yanjye yavuye mu mineke. Ndacuruza, ariko imbogamizi dukunda kugira nuko abagore kenshi usanga abagabo bashaka ko abagore tuba mu rugo, bakanga ko twashaka